If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
The following podcast may contain discussions supported by science that may be considered dangerous to some listeners and conspiracy theorists. Discretion is advised.
The 3 Down Greencast is brought to you by Lucky Bastard Distillers, Saskatchewan's premier distillery, and by the Pile of Bones Brewing Company, brewed in the heart of Regina.
Welcome to the 3 Down Greencast. You are listening to the internet's only The Saskatchewan Roughriders Have Won the Grey Cup podcast. I am Joel Gasson with John Fraser, as usual. We're just going to cut right to the chase today. It's not going to be a super long episode. We're not doing the whole shebang today. At some point in time, we will probably have further thoughts that we'll be able to flesh out and talk about our other usual nonsense. But I think in this case, this is, I guess, a quote-unquote emergency episode.
Yes.
Is it an emergency episode even though we plan to do this? I don't know.
Well, I feel like in our style, we've only had 2, lack of notice, let's get to this episodes. One was when the Bombers signed Sergio Castillo.
Yes.
The other is when the Riders played in and won the 112th Grey Cup game. Mm-hmm. So I think it still qualifies.
Yeah. I mean, it was a
planned
emergency, one of those, planned power outages. Or something like that,
Like that Dave Stadnik knows all about. And on the same note, I'm not going to lie to you, Gas. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to be the DD tonight. I am 7 craft beers deep, so this is going to be extra spicy. And
I know you feel pretty good now after a rough night at the in-laws on topics that we don't need to discuss.
That's fair. Yes, exactly that.
Yeah, so, if for some reason you are just learning this right now, breaking news, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have won the Grey Cup. They defeated the Montreal Alouettes 25-17. At Princess Auto Stadium at Winnipeg, which, as an aside, I have a thought that's brewing in my head about how this played out. Because, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have tormented the Saskatchewan Roughriders for the better part of the last 10 years.
Yes.
Ish, give or take. And this was the year the Bombers finally, started to slip a little bit. And then the Riders come into their barn and win the whole thing. It's got to feel real cathartic, real good for Rider fans right now, because this feels like this could be sort of the changing of the guard type moment that I think Rider fans, at least maybe not Bomber fans, but Rider fans have definitely been waiting for when it comes to their Eastern rivals.
Well, I will put a bit of an asterisk on this, because they were in the Manitoba Bison's dressing room, right?
They were, but it's still in the Bomber Stadium.
No, it's still in Princess Auto Stadium.
This has to be the first time probably ever in Manitoba history that green is the color was played within any football stadium that the Bombers played in after touchdowns. And then, the other Rider anthems were played after the game as well, which is probably unheard of.
No, you are bang on, because any other Grey Cup that Winnipeg has ever hosted, Saskatchewan has not had anything to do with. And it's also been 12 years since the 2013 Grey Cup in Regina, 2007, of course, coming in Toronto. So, it was funny, talking to my friends, I definitely noticed a divide in my friends that are Bomber fans.
Yeah.
I was very much of the, hey, I live in a province where I'm surrounded by Saskatchewan fans. My family is Saskatchewan fans. My friends are Saskatchewan fans.
Yep.
I am caught up in it, and I want to see them have their joy. But there were a few of my friends that live here that were like, no, they cannot win in our barn. That'd be the worst thing ever. And that came true. So I did also want to clarify, Grandpa Ted, you're welcome. I sent you the video. Also sent you the video at halftime, Joel Gasson, that you knew that they would win this, as Connor I came out to, he was in my mother and father-in-law's hot tub. We were watching MGK, which, by the way, I thought great performance.
It was fine. Yeah. It was what you expected it to be. I don't know if he really got over in stadium all that well, but it's hard to hear all of that sort of sound in the press box. But I wouldn't say the crowd was crazy for him, but it was fine.
Well, he was missing like the performative things that you would expect from a guy that like flew in the morning of the game, right? He was missing the snowmobiles.
It took so long to go in where I looked over at like John Hodge for a minute, and I was like, "Are we sure he's here?" We knew he was flying in today.
Right? And I feel like had he had the time, like there's a lot of American artists, like, and I can think of like the Black Eyed Peas and Lenny Kravitz and a lot of American artists that don't take this seriously. Like, I get there wasn't a wow factor for the show, but obviously MGK came and sang, no backing track. The guy gave a shit. The guy put on a good show. That's all you can ever ask, right? I still think it's not going to match the level of give a shit from like the Arkells or Nickelback or Canadian fans that get what this game means to the country, but he didn't half-ass that, which is fantastic. So there's the MGK thoughts, but I know a lot of my friends were thinking, oh, I'm going to be so mad if they're going to win it in our stadium. It's like, well, why? Like, they're a passionate fan base. We're a passionate fan base. This is only their 5th Grey Cup. I don't know. I know why Fraser cursed them on purpose.
Yep, you did.
But I was.
And hey, I picked the Alouettes, and we've seen my record this year in terms of picking games for the Riders to lose when they actually cared if they won or lost. Right?
Holy shit!
I think really Rider fans should be thanking me for their. I'm not going to say lack of belief because I believe the Riders could very easily win this football game, but I just thought the Alouettes would have an extra gear that they frankly just did not find tonight, and like Davis Alexander was supposed to come to the podium after the game. Apparently, he couldn't walk there, so he didn't do it.
That makes sense. He looked hurt.
Yeah, he did not look like he was at the level he needed to be. That's not an excuse, obviously, that the Alouettes are going to use. They still had every opportunity to win this game, but I think it's safe to say, when push came to shove here, we talked about this before, and I was thinking about it basically all day, that this was, I think, easily the Saskatchewan Roughriders' best game of the season.
Yes.
There's a few things, obviously, you'd still like to clean up, but frankly, that doesn't matter tonight. And that was sort of the main stumbling block that I've discovered with my post-game column is a third of it really doesn't apply in a Grey Cup game, depending on the outcome. Because, there were things they did badly tonight, and there's things that if there was a game next week, we could talk about, but it's like, who cares? They won the championship. Why does it matter that Tavon Campbell got torched a few times? Why does it matter that Brett Lowther missed a kick? Why does it matter, all these different things? Like, it doesn't matter because they won.
That's right, because there is no process over results. There's just results.
Yes, it's the ultimate results are the only thing that matters in this game. Process be damned.
Exactly. They are the Grey Cup champions, which is absolutely wild to say because they haven't been anywhere close in the entire time you and I have done this podcast.
No, and it's also wild for me to think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have won 5 Grey Cups in their history, and somehow I've been at 2 of them working.
It's like when we were driving home tonight, and Lacey goes, "Holy shit, I've been alive for 4 of the Riders' Grey Cup championships."
Yeah,
says my wife, who was born in 1984. Right? It's just it's one of those wild things. And so I feel like what this game came down to, Gas, was the appeasement of the football gods. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is like football gods hate cowards.
Yeah.
So when Corey Mace goes. I know, but it's like tonight was the perfect encapsulation of that. Mm-hmm. Corey Mace goes for it on 3rd and 2 from the Montreal 3.
Yep.
It looks like the Riders have fallen short. It goes to a super long commercial break for all of us that aren't in the stadium like you watching the game. And all of a sudden I'm like texting you. I'm like, hey, was that PI? And you're going, actually, they challenged, and the commercial break just gets longer and longer and longer. And then I get to announce, thanks to you, to my in-laws, I'm like, hey, great news, that was PI. So I feel like Corey had so many chances where he could have been safe.
I mean, there was a 3rd and 2 at the plus 44, I believe, that he was going to punt. They ended up getting procedure anyway, so it was kind of null and void, but he was still going to punt on a 3rd and 2 there that I didn't particularly like.
Agreed.
And that could have turned the game the other way. It did for a bit, but the Riders ultimately weathered the storm.
Yes. But for the first 45 minutes of that game, they did everything that appeases the quote unquote football gods. Well, Jason Moss did not do that.
Well, Jason Moss did have the 2nd and 3 at the goal line, and then they snuck twice with Shea Patterson, and then they scored the touchdown on 3rd down there. So he went for that one, but yeah, the one he punted, and then the Riders responded with an extremely long drive that ate up basically the rest of the quarter before the 3-minute warning.
Which is a perfection.
Yeah, I think what happened tonight is we saw the Riders' offense in more or less peak form. They're not going to come out. We know they're not going to blow the doors off anyone. They're not going to win a game 52-6 or anything like that. But they are going to put drives together. They are going to lean on you, and they are going to wear you out until you eventually just have nothing left in the tank and the game's basically over. Now, the Alouettes, to their credit, they fought. They made it real interesting towards the end when the offense did kind of hit their usual stumbling block that we've seen time and time again this year, but they didn't have enough in the tank to fully get over, and we saw it on that final drive with just a couple of really bad penalties that you cannot be taking in the final drive of a Grey Cup game.
No, certainly. You need to be penalty, keep clean, you need to come back. I still think, it's funny. And you've seen it in so many Grey Cup games, and so many Super Bowl games, and so many CFB championship games, and so many conference championship games, so many Vanier Cups, that the team doesn't play their best game.
No.
You could argue that you've seen time and time played maybe their 3rd or 4th, maybe even 5th or 6th best. Tonight, to me, the Riders played their best.
Yeah.
And you needed to. And I get it. Davis Alexander was nicked up. That guy was on one leg, and what a heroic effort on one leg. But
yeah, I think clearly his hamstring was bothering him, but I don't think it was to the point where I think it had that negative of an effect on the game. There were some people out there thinking they should have put MBT in. I never really thought that Alexander was bad enough that you had to make a change. It's not like he was playing with his hand split in half, right? So
no, exactly. This is what Zach Calaris said. And let's face it, one of his 3 interceptions is basically a Hail Mary at the end of a half.
Yes.
He's just yarding it out there, and let's face it,
he was still throwing bombs. I mean, the one pick was a long throw. CJ Rivas had a great knockdown on a pass that went 80 yards in the air or something ridiculous.
CJ Rivas was unbelievable in this game.
Yep.
I get it, and no disrespect to Trevor Harris, because this was Trevor Harris's best game of the year.
Probably the best game. I mean, honestly, given the circumstances and everything, probably the best game of his career.
Yes. Not the MOP. How the fuck is he not the guy? Because he was the guy the entire night.
Yeah. When it got off to a bit of a slow start and things weren't looking great, especially in the first quarter, it was AJ Ouellette that got them going. He was running like mad. I think he had for a while, he had a 9-yard average. This was the guy that got them off the mat. So we're talking about in language matters in the sense of the Grey Cup game, it's the most valuable player, not the most outstanding player. It's the most valuable player. And I do not think the Saskatchewan Roughriders win this game. And even though he had 83 yards, that's kind of his average on the year. But if AJ Ouellette has 20, 30 fewer yards, the Riders might not have won this game.
No, I vote on my MVP because we were sitting there with my mother and father-in-law. And as you know, my father-in-law, Don, is decidedly stoic. Mm-hmm. He's constantly chill. He's very happy all the time, right? That's Don.
Yeah.
And at one point he exclaims, he's like, AJ Ouellette is a hammer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Kate, AJ Ouellette is why they're winning this game, which is why they won the West Final, which is why they won this football game. So, which is also proof that you and I don't know shit about fuck sometimes.
No, we can go back to the start of the year, and who are two of the guys we said maybe shouldn't be on this team? One was AJ Ouellette and Tommy Stevens, who scored 2 touchdowns in this game and actually tied a Rider record for touchdowns in a single Grey Cup game. Tommy Stevens will now live in the Rider Grey Cup history books forever. Which is, that's just kind of fitting for us, I guess.
Right? I mean, all the Fraser curses aside, all the getting Connor involved, go back to preseason week 2 and you and me calling those guys out. I'm glad I can admit I was wrong.
Hey, we have always been very open and honest that we are not afraid to admit when we were wrong. Tommy Stevens obviously played a huge role in this team this year, and they may not be where they were without him. And which is weird to say out loud about a third string short yardage quarterback, but I mean,
right?
He made the difference. The theory still could stand where I think you could find just a big running back or a fullback to do it and use that third quarterback spot as, something of value. But hey, it worked. So,
and Tommy Stevens didn't throw a single pass this year and might be one of the Riders' most valuable players.
Yeah, I also know who. I mean, he's the most valuable Canadian. He probably could have taken home both awards even, and that was Sam Amelis.
Oh, he was so good tonight.
He was outstanding, and we asked Trevor Harris about his play after the game, and
yes, you did, because I was actually watching the post-game press conference, and I heard you actually ask questions. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Oh, it's Gas. We're good.
Yes, they had me in the press conference room after the game. And Trevor Harris thinks that Sam Amelis is going to be a Hall of Famer, which I'm like, okay, that's great praise for your guy, but let's step it back a notch for now, maybe. But whatever, that's fine. But this is just indicative, and this is what we've seen. And I asked Trevor about this because it was like this offense, this receiving core, is unlike anything I think we've ever seen in Saskatchewan. Like most football teams are built around, okay, we have receiver X, Y, and Z. Like these three guys are the guys that run our offense. And Trevor Harris is just like, I don't know, I just throw it to whoever's open. I don't care who it is. And he basically admitted it.
Which is so
He's like, I don't care. He's just there. I'm just going to throw. That's how Tommy Neal suddenly became a star at the back half of the year when nobody knew who he was at the start of the season.
Well, it was, I honestly, I remember saying to at least 2 group chats that I'm like, okay, Robicelli's out for this one. They might be in trouble. Thinking that, that's Trevor Harris's...
It was funny, I never actually thought about this. This came up as a discussion with some of us on 3 Down, and it was because they announced that Keyshawn Johnson was out, and Pablo from Montreal was like, ooh, that's a pretty big deal. And I was like, not really. Trevor will throw to literally anyone. He led the team in receiving yards, but I would argue that this team didn't have a typical number one receiver that if they're missing him, right?
Well, that's it. I was more worried about Robicelli being out because he has always proven to be the guy that knows to get open when Trevor needs a guy.
You know Trevor trusts them and he's sort of the security blanket, but they didn't really need that tonight, thankfully.
No. It was like Sam jumped into that job, right?
Literally with that ridiculous sideline catch he made too.
Oh, that was so good. And at Joe even with and I don't know if it was you or it was Greg from Piffles that said to me this week that the fact that a Joe was in the lineup means that AJ's going to get the ball a lot because a Joe is a very good blocker.
Yep. That must have been great because I don't remember saying that.
I think actually, it's funny. I think it was great. He came by to visit me at work on Saturday because it was so damn slow. So I believe that was him. I get all my Greencast co-hosts in in the wash. I forget who any of you are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to talk about Trevor Harris, right? This is sort of the elephant in the room. The gorilla is off his back, so to speak. There's no question.
Which, congratulations. That completely changes his legacy.
Yes.
This was his legacy game. Had to be Trevor Harris.
Yeah. He pulled it off. He played a great game. Not saying he's undeserving of MVP. There's probably some other guys, as we talked 100%. About, that could have done it. But, not to take anything away from Trevor and what he did in this game, though. I mean, a completion percentage record is nothing to sneeze at. 305 yards, no touchdowns. But, I mean, when you get down to the 1-2 yard line that often, you're not going to throw a lot of touchdowns, probably.
Exactly.
And that's okay. But, I mean, you and I, we've questioned him and we've wondered about him at times and whether he had the ability to put that over the top and get this team there and get any team that he's ever been on there. And I think, he proved it. He actually, and you heard it in his voice, the way he's talked the last weeks, that this mattered to him. That this, not that the others didn't. Obviously, every year matters to him, but I think you could sense the urgency in his words and his tone in a way that we haven't heard from Trevor Harris really ever, quite frankly. And that's when that should have been the sign that this was a different Trevor Harris that we perhaps had never seen before and may never see again. Who knows?
That's fair. He knew his legacy was on the line. He stepped up. He played well. He shook off all the prior playoff failures of his career. And now it's okay, where does he go from here?
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to stick around till 2028, or is this it?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of this $64,000 question right now. I mean, So yeah, there'll obviously be questions about Trevor Harris and, where the team goes from here with him, because I think there is obviously a conversation about the future to be had, not only for whether he should play, but where the team goes with him, considering his age and, future plans. But hey, there's an entire offseason talk about this, but I think, there was a lot of things that happened in this game, and there was a lot of moments, but I think it's impossible to ignore, obviously, the big play by Tevon Campbell at the goal line that knocked the ball loose on Shea Patterson when he looked poised to score a rushing, another QB sneak touchdown, which is another thing we can talk about in the offseason at some point. But Tevon Campbell had a rough night, but he also made two of the game's biggest plays. I guess that's just That's just kind of the life of Tevon Campbell sometimes, I guess. But that's again just another huge moment in this game that is going to live on, because that is. That is, I think at that moment in time is when I actually finally started writing my post-game piece, because I was like, these are two very different columns right now, and I'm not sure which way to go. And I know the guys wanted it done as soon as possible, but I was just like, I couldn't really start. As soon as that happened, I was like, okay, yeah, the brakes are on their side tonight, because that's kind of one of those back-breaking kind of situations when you're right on the goal line, the Alouettes look like they're poised to score, and then not only do you fumble into the end zone, giving them the break of getting to the 20-yard line as well.
Which is exactly what I said. I'm like, I saw them pick up that ball, and Campbell fall on it right on the goal line. I'm like, they're not pinned. Because of that, you've got 30 yards. That was how you knew it was the Riders' night. That's how you knew that Corey's worshiping of the football gods by being aggressive and doing the good things in this game had paid off. I mean, yes, Lowther misses a kick. That could have been the TSN turning point, but you're right, Gass. At that moment, you knew it was Saskatchewan's night. And getting the ball at the goal line, taking it back up to the 30, you knew things were going their way at that point. Like you said, we've all been there as writers. I used to have to write, way back in the day for Husky football. It's you have moments in the game that you're like, okay, my A copy of them winning is the one I'm going to use, not the B copy of them losing, and that was the moment. And yeah, Campbell was Campbell tonight, and it worked out for them. But you're right. Now the Trevor Harris conversation becomes, to me, you go to Trevor this offseason, and it's, do you have 2 years left, or are you done?
Yeah.
Because to me, if he's not staying here until 2028, you got to get rid of him.
Yeah, unless you think you can get the next guy in the building next year, kind of thing. If you can give the guy, and I don't know, if you can give the guy a year behind Trevor Harris, maybe you make that work, right? But yeah, this is obviously a future conversation. I'm sure these will be thoughts that they'll have to have and conversations that'll have to be had. But hey, right now, it's all just about, they won the Grey Cup, and you can see that, and they're just, we can worry about these other things later.
Right. That's exactly it. You and I tend to be critical on this team. There's nothing to be critical about. They're the champions. They're shipping champagne. They're smoking cigars. And congratulations, Saskatchewan, for the 5th time ever, you're champion.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences, and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity, and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently, too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.